Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me now. There are 1,000 reasons to leave, 1,000 chains, 1,000 cuts, 1,000 moments when you looked yourself in the mirror and knew you deserved better. You stayed through the lies. You stayed through the pain. You stayed when the world told you to go. You stayed when your heart was breaking, your soul was bending, and your spirit was begging for freedom. You stayed because you hoped. You stayed because you believed. You stayed because they made you think leaving meant losing. Every reason to leave represents a weight dragging you down, a burden pressing against your chest, a force pulling at your spirit, whispering that something isn't right. It's the quiet discomfort you feel when you wake up in the morning, that sinking sensation in your gut when you realize that another day means another battle with a situation, a person, or a life that no longer serves you. These weights come in many forms. Some are heavy like chains, forged over years of compromise, broken promises, and lost dreams. Others are subtle, like dust settling over your soul, so gradual that you barely notice the weight until one day you struggle to move. You tell yourself that it's normal, that this is just life, but deep inside, you know that life isn't meant to feel like this. Like an anchor has been tied to your back, dragging you through each moment with a force you can't shake. It begins with small things, the little disappointments that pile up over time. The moments when you swallow your truth to keep the peace. The times you say yes when every part of you is screaming no. The dreams you put on hold for the sake of someone else's comfort. The parts of yourself you slowly give away, believing that if you sacrifice enough, if you endure just a little longer, something will change. But nothing changes. Instead, the weight grows. It settles into your bones, makes a home in your mind, wraps around your heart until even the things that once made you happy begin to feel distant, unreachable. The laughter that used to be effortless now feels forced. The passion that once burned inside you is now barely a flicker. You remember who you used to be, but that person feels like a stranger, someone you lost along the way. Maybe it's a job that no longer fulfills you, where every task feels like an obligation rather than a purpose. You tell yourself to be grateful, to push through, to ignore the exhaustion that lingers even after you sleep, but deep down you feel it. A dull ache that reminds you that you were meant for more, that your talents, your ambition, your very existence deserve more than just getting by. Maybe it's a relationship that has become a prison, where love has been replaced by obligation, by routine, by the fear of starting over. You hold on because of the history, because of the time invested, because the idea of walking away feels like failure. But what is failure? Is it leaving something that no longer nurtures you? Or is it staying where you're no longer valued, no longer growing, no longer alive? Or maybe it's the weight of expectations, the ones placed on you by family, by society, by the version of yourself you thought you had to be. You carry them like bricks on your shoulders, bending under their pressure, afraid that if you put them down, if you let go of the roles you've been assigned, you'll disappoint someone. But in trying not to disappoint others, you disappoint yourself. Every reason to leave is a reminder of how far you've strayed from what you truly want. It's in the exhaustion that greets you at the end of each day, in the frustration that lingers beneath the surface, in the quiet moments when you ask yourself if this is really it. It's in the way your spirit rebels against settling, in the way your heart aches for something more, something different, something lighter. Yet, even as the weight grows heavier, you hesitate. You convince yourself that leaving is too hard, too uncertain, too risky. You fear the unknown more than the discomfort of staying. You tell yourself that maybe if you just wait a little longer, things will change. But how much longer? How many more days will you spend carrying what is not meant for you? How many more nights will you lay awake, wondering if there is more to life than this? Because here's the truth. This weight was never meant to be yours. You were not built to carry burdens that break you. You were not meant to live a life that dims your light, that suffocates your joy, that leaves you longing for an escape. You were meant to be free, to breathe deeply, to walk with purpose, to feel alive. And if every reason to leave is a weight dragging you down, then what does that tell you? It tells you that the only way to rise is to let go, to release the chains, to choose yourself, to stop settling for a life that is anything less than what you deserve. Growth comes from knowing when to move forward. It is the difference between stagnation and evolution, between remaining trapped in a cycle that no longer serves you and stepping into the unknown where possibilities exist. Moving forward is not just about walking away from something, it is about stepping into something greater, something that challenges you, stretches you, and allows you to become the person you were meant to be. Growth does not happen in comfort. It does not happen in the familiar, where every day looks the same, where the conversations never change, where the environment keeps you contained within a version of yourself that is no longer true. Growth demands movement. It requires the courage to recognize when you have outgrown a situation, a place, a relationship, or even a mindset. It is about acknowledging that staying where you are simply because it is familiar is not the same as thriving. Moving forward is often met with resistance, not just from the outside world, but from within. The mind clings to the past, to memories of what once was, to the illusion that things might return to how they used to be. You tell yourself that maybe if you stay a little longer, things will change. That maybe if you hold on tighter, what is slipping away will come back. But deep down, you know the truth. You feel it in the moments of frustration, in the silent sighs, in the restless nights when your heart whispers that you were meant for more. Growth comes when you listen to that voice, when you understand that forward movement is not a betrayal of your past, but a tribute to your future. It is recognizing that holding on to something that no longer nurtures you is not loyalty, it is fear. It is the fear of the unknown, the fear of rebuilding, the fear of stepping outside the safety of what you have always known. But safety is not the same as fulfillment. Staying in a place that no longer serves you may feel comfortable, but it slowly erodes your spirit, making you a prisoner of a life you were never meant to settle for. The hardest part of moving forward is often the first step. The moment you decide that you will no longer shrink to fit into spaces that can no longer contain you. The moment you accept that growth sometimes requires breaking, that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a declaration of strength. It's in that moment of decision that transformation begins, because moving forward is not just a physical act. It is a shift in mindset, a change in perspective, a commitment to choosing yourself even when it is difficult. Growth is found in the lessons that come after you move, in the way you discover new strengths, new perspectives, and new depths of resilience that you never knew you had. It is in the moments when you look back and realize that what once felt like an unbearable loss was actually a necessary shedding, that what you thought was an ending was actually a beginning, that every painful goodbye made room for a new hello, one that aligned more with the person you are becoming. Sometimes moving forward means walking away from people who cannot walk with you. It means understanding that not everyone is meant to go where you are going, that some people were only meant to be part of your story for a chapter, not the whole book. It means realizing that clinging to relationships that no longer uplift you is like holding on to an anchor while trying to swim. You must release what weighs you down to rise to the surface. Other times, moving forward is about leaving behind versions of yourself that no longer fit. The version that played small, the version that settled for less, the version that accepted treatment that did not align with self-worth. Growth demands that you step into a higher version of yourself, that you embody the wisdom and strength that your past struggles have given you. It requires a willingness to unlearn, to relearn, to be open to new experiences, new people, new ways of thinking. Moving forward is not always easy, but neither is staying in a place where you no longer belong. The difference is that one path leads to expansion, to discovery, to a life that feels aligned with who you truly are. The other leads to regret, to wondering what could have been, to looking back and realizing that fear kept you from stepping into the life you were meant to live. The truth is, growth is inevitable. You will change whether you want to or not. The question is whether you will resist it or embrace it. Whether you will allow yourself to evolve or force yourself to remain in a space that no longer nurtures your soul. The choice is always yours, but the reality is undeniable. Growth comes from knowing when to move forward. The difference between staying stuck and rising above is the difference between merely existing and truly living. It is the choice between allowing circumstances to define you or deciding to define yourself. Staying stuck is easy. It requires nothing but complacency, but rising above demands courage, resilience, and the willingness to face discomfort for the sake of something greater. Staying stuck feels familiar. It is the weight of old habits, outdated beliefs, and situations that no longer serve you. It is waking up every morning with the same frustrations, the same doubts, and the same lingering thought that something is missing. It is convincing yourself that this is just how life is, that change is too hard, that maybe this is all you deserve. The mind finds a way to normalize pain, to justify stagnation, to make you believe that staying where you are is safer than the risk of reaching for more. Rising above, however, is a decision. It is recognizing that you are not meant to remain in a cycle that drains you. It is refusing to be a prisoner of your past, your circumstances, or your own fears. Rising above means stepping into discomfort, because you understand that discomfort is the price of transformation. It is making the hard choices, having the difficult conversations, and being willing to walk away from anything that keeps you from becoming the person you were meant to be. The difference between staying stuck and rising above is mindset. Those who stay stuck believe they are powerless, that life happens to them rather than because of them. They wait for change, hoping that someday things will be different without ever taking the steps to make it so. They hold on to the past, replaying old wounds, carrying resentment, and living in a space where fear outweighs action. They tell themselves that it is too late, that they are too broken, that they are not strong enough to break free. But those who rise above understand that power lies in choice. They recognize that even when life is unfair, even when they have been hurt, betrayed, or let down, they still have the ability to decide how they respond. They do not wait for permission to grow. They take responsibility for their lives, for their healing, for their future. Rising above is an act of self-respect, a declaration that you refuse to let anything, whether it be a person, a failure, or a past version of yourself, keep you from moving forward. Staying stuck is choosing to live in excuses. Rising above is choosing to live in solutions. Staying stuck is allowing fear to dictate your actions. Rising above is feeling fear but moving forward anyway. Staying stuck is believing that things will never get better. Rising above is believing that you are capable of creating something better. There will always be reasons to stay where you are. Comfort, familiarity, fear of the unknown, but there will also always be reasons to rise, to grow, to evolve, to step into the life that is waiting for you on the other side of fear. The difference between staying stuck and rising above is not about what happens to you, it is about what you decide to do next. Leaving is sometimes the only way to reclaim yourself. It is not an act of weakness, but an act of self-preservation. It is the realization that staying in a situation, relationship, or environment that no longer nurtures you is a slow erosion of who you are. The world tells you to endure, to compromise, to adjust. But what happens when the adjustments become sacrifices? What happens when the compromise means losing pieces of yourself until you no longer recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror? Leaving is sometimes the only way to remind yourself of your own worth. It is the moment you decide that you will no longer be defined by someone else's expectations, by a role that no longer fits, by a place that has become too small for the person you are meant to be. It is understanding that staying out of obligation, out of fear, or out of familiarity is not the same as staying out of love, passion, or purpose. Reclaiming yourself means remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. It means revisiting the dreams you abandoned, the boundaries you ignored, the voice you silenced to keep the peace. It means recognizing that somewhere along the way you settled for less than what you deserved, that you accepted conditions that did not honor your heart, that you allowed circumstances to shape you into someone you never intended to become. Leaving is hard. It requires strength to walk away from something that once meant everything to you. It forces you to confront the unknown, to step into uncertainty, to trust that what lies ahead is greater than what you are leaving behind. But staying in a place where you are unhappy, unfulfilled, or undervalued is not living. It is existing. It is waking up every day with a weight on your chest, with a sense of quiet resignation, with the knowledge that you are betraying yourself by choosing comfort over growth, fear over possibility, stagnation over transformation. People will tell you to stay. They will tell you that things will get better, that you just need to try harder, that walking away means giving up. But reclaiming yourself is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. It is recognizing that your happiness, your peace, and your future are worth more than the opinions of those who do not understand your journey. It is realizing that no one else has to live with the choices you make but you. Sometimes leaving is about walking away from a relationship that no longer aligns with who you are. You hold on because of history, because of memories, because of the version of love that once existed. You convince yourself that if you just endure the loneliness, the distance, the lack of fulfillment, things might go back to the way they were. But love should not be a place where you lose yourself. A relationship should not require you to shrink, to bend, to erase parts of yourself just to keep the peace. And when it does, leaving is the only way to reclaim the person you were before you became someone else for the sake of someone else. Other times, leaving is about walking away from a job, an environment, or a life that no longer serves you. You spend years climbing a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. You pour your time, your energy, your passion into something that drains you rather than fuels you. You stay because it is secure, because it is what you know, because stepping into the unknown feels like too great a risk. But what is the greater risk? Leaving behind what no longer fulfills you, or staying in a place that dims your light every single day? Leaving is an act of self-love. It is telling yourself that you deserve more, that you are capable of more, that you are worthy of a life that excites you, fulfills you, and makes you feel alive. It is acknowledging that you cannot build a future while holding on to a past that no longer fits. It is the decision to reclaim your time, your energy, your passion, and your identity. It is not easy. The road ahead will be uncertain. There will be moments of doubt, moments where you wonder if you made the right choice, moments where the familiarity of the past tries to pull you back. But every step forward is a step toward yourself. Every decision to choose yourself is a declaration that you will no longer settle for less than what you deserve. Leaving is not about running away. It is about walking towards something greater. It is about reclaiming your voice, your power, your freedom. It is about choosing yourself, even when the world tells you not to. And sometimes that is the only way to truly find yourself again. Just because it hurts now doesn't mean you have to endure it forever. Pain is real, struggle is real, and there are moments in life when the weight of what you are carrying feels unbearable. But pain is not meant to be a permanent state. It is meant to teach, to reveal, to push you towards something different, something greater. Enduring pain without purpose, without growth, without an exit plan is not strength. It is self-abandonment. There is a difference between temporary hardship and unnecessary suffering. Hardship builds resilience. It tests your patience. It forces you to grow in ways you never expected. But suffering without change, suffering without an end in sight, suffering for the sake of endurance alone is not noble. It is not a sign of strength to stay in a place that is breaking you. It is not loyalty to hold on to something that continues to hurt you. It is not weakness to choose yourself instead of the pain. Too many people believe that if they just endure a little longer, things will get better. They tell themselves that if they push through, if they swallow their pain, if they pretend they are okay, then maybe the situation will change. But time alone does not heal. Ignoring the hurt does not make it go away. Pain is not something to be carried indefinitely. It is a signal, a message, a call to action. It is telling you that something in your life needs to change, that something is not right, that something is misaligned with your purpose, your peace, your well-being. It is easy to normalize pain, to convince yourself that this is just how life is, that struggle is inevitable, that feeling drained and defeated is just part of the process. But not all pain is necessary. Not all burdens are yours to bear. There are pains that come with growth, and then there are pains that come from staying where you are not meant to be. One leads to something better, the other keeps you trapped. Pain in a job that drains you every single day is not something you have to endure forever. You do not have to wake up dreading the hours ahead, convincing yourself that this is the only way, that you are stuck, that you have no other options. You are never truly stuck, only afraid of the changes that come with breaking free. There is always another path, another opportunity, another way to create a life that does not require you to suffer just to survive. Pain in a relationship that makes you feel unseen, unheard, Unappreciated is not something you have to endure forever. Love should not be built on constant disappointment, on feeling like you are not enough, on sacrificing yourself just to keep someone else happy. Staying in something that hurts you, that drains you, that diminishes your spirit is not love, it is fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear that maybe this is the best you will ever have. But fear is not a reason to stay. You do not have to settle for pain when love is meant to heal, not harm. Pain and the expectations placed upon you, the roles you have been forced into, the weight of other people's opinions is not something you have to endure forever. You do not have to live your life according to what others think is best for you. You do not have to keep suppressing your own needs, your own dreams, just to meet the standards set by someone else. You are allowed to break free, to redefine yourself, to create a life that feels right for you, not one that keeps you confined to what is expected. The hardest part of walking away from pain is convincing yourself that you deserve better. It is easy to believe that endurance is the answer, that holding on means you are strong, that letting go is a sign of failure. But true strength is knowing when to walk away. It is knowing when enough is enough. It is knowing that you do not have to keep suffering just because you have been suffering for a long time. You owe it to yourself to choose peace. You owe it to yourself to stop justifying the pain, to stop making excuses for why you should stay, to stop believing that your suffering is a requirement for success, for love, for acceptance. You do not have to endure forever just because it hurts now. You have the power to change, to move, to leave, to heal. You have the right to choose a life where pain is not the foundation of your existence. Just because it hurts now does not mean it always will. Just because you have been in pain for so long does not mean you have to stay in it. You are allowed to seek joy. You are allowed to seek freedom. You are allowed to walk away from what no longer serves you. And when you do, you will realize that pain was never meant to be your home. It was only meant to be a lesson, one that teaches you that you deserve more. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. The past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. Every experience, every heartbreak, every failure, and every lesson has played a role in making you who you are. But none of it is meant to hold you back. The future is waiting, and it holds more than you can imagine. More growth, more love, more opportunities, and more moments that will remind you why you kept going. It is easy to get stuck looking back, to replay memories, to revisit old wounds, to wonder what could have been if only things had gone differently. But no amount of reflection will change what has already happened. The past is set in stone, unchangeable, unmovable. What you can change is how you move forward. What you can control is what you choose to focus on. The weight of what you lost or the possibilities of what is still to come. Growth requires forward movement. You cannot reach for what's ahead if you are still holding on to what is behind. You cannot step into new opportunities, new relationships, new experiences if your hands are still full of what no longer belongs to you. Letting go is not about forgetting. It is about making space. It is about trusting that what is meant for you is still out there, waiting for you to be ready. There is a reason the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. You are meant to glance back, but you are not meant to live there. The road ahead is wide open and filled with endless possibilities, but you will never see them if you are too busy looking over your shoulder. The longer you hold on to the past, the longer you delay the blessings that are meant to come into your life. The comfort of the past can be deceiving. Even when it no longer serves you, even when it has caused you pain, there is something familiar about it. It feels known, predictable, and safe in its own way. The future, on the other hand, is uncertain. It holds unknown challenges, new risks, and the possibility of more pain, but it also holds the possibility of more joy, more success, more love, and more peace than you have ever known. Fear of the unknown is what keeps people stuck. It convinces them that what they had before, even if it was painful, is better than what they do not yet see. But faith in what's ahead is what allows people to grow, to expand, and to step into something greater than they ever imagined. The life you want, the peace you seek, the happiness you crave, it is all ahead of you, not behind you. You do not need to have all the answers before you move forward. You just need to believe that something better is waiting. Every closed door in your past was not a loss, it was a redirection. Every person who left, every opportunity that slipped away, every situation that did not go the way you planned was leading you somewhere better. What's ahead is greater than what's behind, because life is always moving forward. Change is constant, and if you allow yourself to embrace it instead of resisting it, you will find that even the hardest endings are often the beginnings of something better. The key to embracing the future is trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your journey, trust that you are being guided towards something meant for you. The pain of the past may have made you cautious, but it should not make you afraid to move forward. Healing happens when you stop trying to relive what is gone and start focusing on what is possible. When you realize that your best days are not behind you but ahead of you, everything changes. What's ahead is not just about achieving more or having more, it is about becoming more. It is about stepping into a version of yourself that is wiser, stronger, and more aligned with who you were always meant to be. It is about no longer settling for what once felt comfortable but now feels limiting. It is about choosing growth, even when it is hard, and believing that every step forward is leading you closer to the life you deserve. No matter what you have been through, no matter what you have lost, no matter how heavy the past has been, there is still more waiting for you. More love, more laughter, more adventure, more peace. The past may have had its moments of beauty, but it was never meant to be the peak. There is more ahead, more than you can even begin to imagine. And when you finally let go of what's behind, you will find that what's ahead is greater than anything you have left behind. If there's something truly worth holding on to, let it be love, purpose, or destiny. Everything else, fear, doubt, regret, pain, will only weigh you down. Life is constantly changing. People come and go, circumstances shift, and what once felt certain can suddenly feel unfamiliar. But in the middle of all the uncertainty, there are three things that remain true: love, purpose, and destiny. These are the things that give life meaning, the things that carry you through the storms, the things that make the struggle worth it. Love is worth holding on to because it is the most powerful force in existence. Not just romantic love, but love in all its forms. The love you have for yourself, the love you give to others, the love that makes life feel rich and full. Without love, everything else feels empty. Money, success, recognition, none of it matters if love is missing. Love is what gives life depth, what turns ordinary moments into something special, what reminds you that you are not alone in this world. But love is not just about receiving, it is also about giving. Love is what you pour into the people around you, into your dreams, into the things that set your soul on fire. Love is the energy that keeps you going when things get hard. It is the force that allows you to see the best in people, to forgive, to keep believing in the goodness of the world, even when it tries to show you otherwise. Love is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Hold on to love, but do not mistake attachment for love. Love is not meant to be a prison, it is meant to be freedom. It should uplift you, not break you. It should bring peace, not constant turmoil. If you have to lose yourself to keep love, then it is not love. It is control. It is fear. It is a shadow of what love is supposed to be. Love does not ask you to shrink. It asks you to grow. It does not demand that you sacrifice your happiness. It enhances it. Hold on to love, but only when it is real. Purpose is another thing worth holding on to. Life without purpose feels aimless, like you are just going through the motions, waiting for something to change. Purpose is what gives your days meaning. It is what makes you wake up with excitement, what pushes you to keep going even when the road is rough. Your purpose is not just what you do for a living, it is the impact you make, the way you show up in the world, the thing that lights you up inside. Finding your purpose is not always easy. Some people spend years searching for it, trying different paths, failing, starting over, wondering if they will ever figure it out. But purpose is not always one grand thing. It can be found in the small moments, in the way you make people feel, in the things that bring you joy. It is in the conversations that make you come alive, in the work that doesn't feel like work, in the dreams that refuse to let go of you. Hold on to purpose, because purpose will hold on to you. When everything else feels uncertain, when life throws challenges your way, when you feel lost and unsure, purpose will be your anchor. It will remind you that you are here for a reason, that your existence matters, that there is something you are meant to do in this world. And purpose is not about impressing others or meeting society's expectations. It is about doing what sets your soul on fire. Destiny is the third thing worth holding on to, because destiny is the path that was meant for you. It is the journey that is uniquely yours, the story that is unfolding even when you cannot see it. Destiny is not something that can be rushed or forced. It requires trust, patience, and the willingness to walk forward even when you do not know what is ahead. There will be moments when you doubt your destiny, when things do not go as planned, when doors close, when life seems to be working against you. But every setback is just a redirection. Every obstacle is part of the process. What is meant for you will not pass you by, but you have to be willing to meet it halfway. You have to be willing to let go of the things that are not meant for you so that you can receive the things that are. Holding on to destiny means believing that your story is still being written, that the best chapters have not yet been lived. It means understanding that every experience, good or bad, is shaping you into the person you need to become. It means trusting that, even when you cannot see the whole picture, there is something greater at work, something guiding you toward where you are meant to be. Do not hold on to things that drain you. Do not hold on to people who do not see your worth. Do not hold on to pain just because it is familiar. Let go of everything that is keeping you from becoming who you are meant to be, and hold on only to what truly matters. Hold on to love, because love makes life beautiful. Hold on to purpose, because purpose gives life meaning. Hold on to destiny, because destiny ensures that everything will fall into place exactly as it is meant to. These are the only things worth keeping. Everything else is just noise. But let me tell you something. Leaving is not losing. Leaving is winning. You are not built for cages. You are not built for suffering. You are made to rise, to fight, to chase after something greater than what you've been given. 1,000 reasons to go, each one whispering, shouting, screaming at you. You deserve peace. You deserve love. You deserve to be free. You deserve to wake up without fear, without regret, without the weight of a life that no longer serves you. And yet, one reason to stay, just one. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's faith. Maybe it's destiny. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to tell you that you already know. Deep down, in the silence of your heart, beyond the noise, beyond the fear, you know. So make the choice. Not for them, not for what they expect, for you. Because at the end of the day, after all the reasons, all the battles, all the sleepless nights, the only thing that matters is this: does staying make you whole? If it does, then fight for it. But if it doesn't, walk away.